You know what time it is. You know what time it is.
How firm thy friendship. Oh,
you know what time it is. Roll with them boys of the fall. You know what time it is. On the ground with a nose for the ball. You know what time it is. Blood, sweat, and them tears for this game. Leaving it all out on the field with no fear for you lames. And it's Buckeyes by a billion. We in the building with over 100,000. We represent from the uttermost to the public housing. If we don't play, our wide receivers got your secondary shook, so they cook them like Bobby Flay. Hey, stay out of my way and trust me, cause I know it's OH. Somebody please give this brother an IO. Come on.
What up, Buckeye Nation? Welcome to the Buckeye Boys, where we talk about college football with real fans. I'm Devin, and that's Mello, and I'm excited to be here with my dude Mello. Mello, how you doing, bro? How's life been treating you?
Man, life's great, man. I'm happy to be here. This is awesome. Can't wait to talk Buckeye football. It's been a minute, bro. How you been?
Yeah, man. Good, dude. Living life. About to go to this Wisconsin game with B. Moses. Went to the Washington game, so I can't do too much complaining. What's up, Russ, in the chat? I see you in there, brother. And this is a unscheduled show late at night. So if you are watching, you are a devoted Buckeye fan, and we appreciate you for doing that. While you're watching, hit that like button for us, man. If you haven't subscribed yet and you like the show, that would support us and go a long way. So we appreciate that. Yeah, when stars aligned, we didn't know we were going either, but thought about my dude Mello today, and I'm like, bro, I'm going to call him. We got to do a show. I haven't talked Buckeye football with him for a long time, so wanted to get on here, man. Buckeyes 6-0 now, Mello, handling business. They went into Illinois. They beat Washington, who should be a ranked team. They're 5-1, by the way, and they've had some pretty good wins on their schedule. So if they were in the SEC, they'd be ranked, but that's a whole different show. But Mello, the Buckeyes, right? That we knew they weren't done in the 26 class. They're still not done. A lot of intel to talk about, but this isn't a recruiting show. But we do want to talk about Laundry Breed. He committed, offensive lineman from Mentor, Ohio, plays left tackle at the high school. He flipped his commitment from NC State to the Buckeyes today. He's been committed to the Buckeyes for quite some time, but had to work out some stuff. We told you that on this show here, but he's a Buckeye. So I'm going to pull this film up, Mello. We'll talk about him for a second. Then we'll get into our thoughts with where the Buckeyes are and how they're playing. But, dude, Mello, you're going to love this film with Andre. There he is, number 70, the left tackle. Look at that counter play, him pulling across there. I love the dirtiness that he plays with, Mello. This is it's a pattern with Ohio offensive linemen, and I absolutely love it. Watch this play, Mello. Watch this, dude. Watch where he ends up at the end of the play. This is a 6'5", 280-pound left tackle. Runs all the way down the field, this running back, bro. So I love it, dude. Mello, what you think about grabbing offensive linemen from the state of Ohio?
I think it's been working out well. Look at our O-line right now. I mean, we had the best offensive line room in America. We at the Buckeye Boys said this and told you guys this all off season. We told you this was going to be LBU again, and it's clearly LBU again. We told you this was going to be DBU again, which it's been DBU for a little while. Wide receiver U. The only thing we might have missed on a little bit is RBU, but O-line U, we're killing it. And I mean, why not get from the state of Ohio and then go and chase a big time fish from out of state if you want to? But Ohio State produces good O linemen and D linemen. They're above board. They're underrated for whatever reason. I don't know why they're underrated. They are, but proof is in the pudding. We have the best offensive line room and the best D line in America. So, I mean, that's how I feel. I feel like we should pick Ohio offensive linemen personally.
Yeah, I mean, here's the truth. We're the number one team in the nation. We look like the number one team in the nation. Why? Because we have the best offensive line and best defensive line in the country. We're winning in the trenches. We're dominating in the trenches, and we're handling our business. And what I love about Tyler Bowen is, you remember Coach Fry, right? When he was here, man, he did not recruit the state of Ohio like We wanted him to. We made that very clear on our shows. He didn't do it, but I tell you what, Coach Bowen is not playing. He is turning over every stone in the state of Ohio. He's ahead of the game, got a bunch of 2027 offensive linemen in the state of Ohio offered already, got some 2028 Ohio offensive linemen offered already. And that's not a normal thing. That's not what we're used to here at the Buckeyes with Coach Fry and how he operated with making his offers when he was here. But I love it. Just watch the dude's film. You can see why the Buckeyes picked him up. He's got that mean streak. He plays with passion, and he's always wanted to be a Buckeye, dude. He's a fan like us. He grew up, his whole family, watching the Buckeyes, obsessed with the Buckeyes. So put this mean streak on a player who's passionate, a fan's passion for the Buckeyes, and put it on the field as an offensive lineman, and you get the result that we have gotten this year with our offensive linemen from the state of Ohio. They just play different, dude. Because they're from Ohio, they have that passion. We talked about it.
Absolutely. And you said something funny. You said that Justin Fry didn't recruit the state of Ohio. Justin Fry didn't recruit anywhere. Like, let's be honest. So, I mean, we can say Ohio, we can say wherever. He didn't do a great job recruiting. What he did do was a great job of developing. So I will always salute him for that because he did a heck of a job last year. I never thought we could rotate the whole line that way and still win a natty, but he proved me wrong. And it just speaks to the depth and the talent that the state of Ohio does have. You got Luke Montgomery coming in. He's a beast. He's been playing phenomenal. Carson Hinsman, yes, he's not from Ohio, but he's Ohio adjacent, right? I just love it. I'm waiting to see what the Armstrong twins are going to do next year. I'm pretty high on them. I feel like they've improved a lot, and it's just going to be amazing to see the future of this Buckeye team. Because what did you say last year? 24-25 natty lot?
That I did. Yeah. Might have to add another year to that,
26 natty lot. 25-26 natty lot. So the future's bright. It's quite obvious that Ryan Day is the best coach in the game. I'm not here to debate anybody else. I don't really care what they say. It's not facts. Ryan Day is the best coach in the game. Look at all the top 10 teams that he has beat just in the last 2 seasons alone. So I think anybody would trade their coach for Ryan Day, except for maybe UGA, and that's because they still think Kirby is the greatest thing since sliced bread. The proof is in the pudding off field and on field with them.
Yeah, 100%. Bello, I got to introduce you to my new family member. I don't know if you've seen Tinker yet, but this is my new puppy. Look,
you got a regular pet? You got a regular normal pet now?
Yeah, I do. A normal one. Yeah.
That's what's up.
Yeah, a female dog. Yeah, I'll still get another raccoon or a skunk or something, but. Mello, we're hearing a pretty big echo. I'm guessing we're connected to the Bluetooth in your car, and it's echoing everything I'm saying.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me see if I can fix it. How's it sound?
Yeah, you're good. I don't hear it now. Mello, before we get on to these Buckeyes, let's talk about this. Buckeye, man, thanks for the $1.99 super chat. Can we flip Womack if Auburn keeps losing? Well, let me just do this. This is what I was going to say. Obviously, it came down to money for us as parents here, but it came down to money. But what we do know is we had him on here several times. We gave you guys a lot of intel about that recruitment. All that intel, all that stuff you heard was true. He was obsessed with the Buckeyes, but the Buckeyes aren't going to be anywhere close to the offer that Auburn had him. So for that, I will say no, unless the Buckeyes up their offer. But they're in on Kamari. I think he's a Maryland commit right now. Got a couple crystal balls for him. Dude, here's the truth. They just did not. The Buckeyes, for some reason, didn't hold Braylon Womack as high as the national recruiting boards did. They didn't think he was that level of player. That's just the truth of the situation. Therefore, they didn't offer him that type of money. Mello, anything to add to that?
Regardless whether they thought it or they didn't think it, Obviously, the Womack family is very loyal. He's going to Auburn, regardless who's coaching. He's going to Auburn for at least a year. It's not going to matter. And then if he proves on the field and Ohio State needs a safety, if they go in and try to get him, he will flip. But the first year, he definitely 100% going to Auburn.
Yeah, no doubt. I agree with that. Well, Mel, let's dive into this a little bit here. Obviously, the Buckeyes, they've been dominating. They went into Illinois. The score shows they dominate, and the truth is they kind of did dominate, but because we're the Buckeyes and because we know the potential that they have, I think the Buckeyes, I haven't seen them play a game. The Minnesota game was pretty close to their full potential, but still there's some things that we want to see get better with the Buckeyes. But the things that are great, Julian saying is we're still that echo is crazy. We're still hearing it, Mello. I hear myself everything I say. Yeah. I don't know what it is. But yeah, so Julian saying killing the game, wide receivers. Obviously, the questions that we have are more schematic, but go into this. Tell me what you think about the Buckeye offense right now. Do you have concerns? What are your thoughts?
I don't have concerns. I think they're operating at about 65%. They don't really need to, right? I mean, the defense is so potent that their offense doesn't have to present anything new, but I expect them to keep opening it up slowly. But really, you have to take what the other opposing team's defense is doing. You want to take away the passing game? Okay, we're going to run on you. And you want to take away the explosives? We're going to run on you. We're going to hit you intermediately. We're going to drive down the field. Julian Sayin is making great decisions, 80% completion passer rating. So at the end of the day, we're going to just take what you want to give us because either way we can kill you. Whether you want us to let us pass on you, drive down the field, explosive, run on you, it doesn't matter. I do want to see a little bit better run game. Right now, I feel like CJ is getting better, but I feel like outside of Bo Jackson, we're missing that second dynamic runner. Honestly, in terms of vision, in terms of explosiveness, in terms of patience and pressing the hole and getting north and south quickly. That's where I want to see a lot more development is really in that run game.
Yeah. Well, Mello, speaking of that, I've got some good news for you, man. Got a little intel today over there on the Scoop message board and also spoke with some people close to the team. And if you're one of those Buckeye fans that is looking at this run game and thinking you want to see some more things in that, I will tell you that the coaches share that sentiment. They're well aware, right, that there needs to be some more creative things. There needs to be some more dynamic run plays added to this offense. But I think the main thing that you said is they haven't needed to. They haven't needed to do that. So they wanted to get this type of running down. And I have a very sneaking suspicion that the very next game that we see play, you're going to see a different running scheme in this game. That's what we're being told. The coaches are well aware. They watch the film. They see the same games we do, and they know that this rushing attack that they have right now is not going to work the rest of the season. Definitely in the playoffs when we play better teams. It's not going to work against Michigan. We saw that last year. It's not going to work this year. Don't try it again. They know that. And there's so many more options they can utilize with the skill set that this team's have, some of the players that we have, the way the offensive line is playing. So, again, it just all falls back on to trust with these coaches. And you already said it. Ryan Day is the best coach in the game right now, hands down. And, I have faith that the Buckeyes are going to add on to that as the season goes on. But the key thing I always have to remind myself, Mello, is that because the game has changed so much with the playoffs and the portal and all that combined, it's becoming more like the NFL. And the Buckeyes are treating it as such more than any other team in the nation. They are thinking about snap counts. They are thinking about plays they're putting on film for other teams. They're thinking about that. And I think they're doing that better than any other team in the nation. I think they did that last year better than any team in the nation. This staff is stacked with NFL coaches with a lot of experience. And I think that's where some of the frustration is lying with with some of us fans on the offensive side and even the defensive side of the ball, there's so much more that they can add to this, but they haven't needed to. So why do it when you don't need to, when you still got the second half of the season to play and also the playoffs? You want to be playing your best football during the playoffs, and I'm convinced that when we get to playoff time, when we get to the Michigan game, that we're going to see a lot of things that we haven't seen during the regular season. Anything to add to that, and we'll jump into the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, you brought it up. You made, I think, a very rated statement in terms of not putting stuff on film when you don't need to, right? We saw the difference between the offense during the regular season and then what happened to Tennessee in the playoffs and the rest of every single team that we lined up. So just knowing that this team could be just as explosive, if not more, why would you put it on the film for teams to prep for? So that is a big thing that you stated just now. I just wanted to point that out. I want to see some more usage of the tight end. I'm sorry, but I need my boy Jelani Thurman to get in the game. Like at this point, why not play? You're not getting a whole lot out of the rest of them. I mean, Max Clare's a beast, but I feel like we're underusing the tight end position, and Jelani is a nightmare. So that's something else I would like to see.
Yeah. When you bring that up, specifically in the red zone, right? We saw in the spring game, Jelani's size, his athleticism, he could be an answer for you down there in the red zone. We've had a little bit of trouble stalling in the red zone, a little bit. So that's one area that I know this team is going to focus on, this coaching staff is focused on. So I could see our boy Jelani Thurman getting involved there because, if he can get down catching, go watch his high school film. The dude was dominant. So if we could get that kind of play out of him and get him in the red zone, I'm not sure who can cover him down there. And when you get, if you get him rolling in the red zone with Jeremiah Smith, with Carnell Tate, with Max Clare, with this offensive line and the most accurate quarterback in the nation, I think that can solve some of your issues. So I really like that idea. Mello, I want to switch to the defense, but I got to give you your kudos and bring this up because before the season started, you were very big on Devin Sanchez possibly starting. And if he's starting, things had to be moved around. And what you always said is you really want to see Jermaine Matthews play the nickel and you want to see Devin Sanchez on the outside. Well, we saw Lorenzo Styles not able to play. Therefore, we saw what their second option was, exactly what you were talking about, which shows you how close the coaches were to just making that decision originally. And not only that, Jermaine Matthews thrived in the nickel position. He caused 2 turnovers, had pass breakups, closer to the ball. Like, I really liked what I saw out of him in that game. And, you can't always expect games like that, but I'm wondering if that's a sign when you have a player come in and you are that productive and that's your first time playing that position all year. You got to ask yourself, does that, open the coach's eyes to maybe something they didn't realize they had? But then you got Devin Sanchez on the outside, who is an absolutely elite talent. He's going to be one of the best corners in the nation. He's going to have some growing pains. Teams are going to throw at him from time to time, and corners are not always going to win every rep. That pass interference they called on him in the end zone was very weak. I think they could have let that one slide. They let a lot of other stuff slide during the game, so that was very weak. But I got to give you your props and ask you your thoughts on that. What are your thoughts on how the game went with Jermaine at nickel and Devin Sanchez on the outside?
I love that they did that. I think I'm just going to flat out say it. Jermaine Matthews is the best DB in America. Period. He could play nickel and he could play outside at an elite level. Iggy is stepping his game up as well. But in terms of Jermaine Matthews, I don't think there's a better DB in America than him, or a more versatile DB in America than him. And in terms of Devin Sanchez, give him these reps. We're going to need him. He's going to need to play. I don't think, if it was me, I'm playing Devin, Jermaine, and Iggy. That's just me. But I don't think that this coaching staff is going to do that to Lorenzo Styles, especially because the Styles family is Buckeye royalty. And I mean, he hasn't been playing that, right? He's been getting the job done. So I think when you combine that and the factor that he's a senior, I think when he comes back healthy, he's going to be starting again. But if you're looking for the best three, it's clearly Iggy, Jermaine, and Devin. And that's just my opinion. I think it's kind of everybody else's opinion. If you watch it, they have the highest ceiling when those three are playing. When you put that 6'2" length between Devin Sanchez and Iggy on the outside, and then you have Jermaine Matthews who will come up and tag you and also come and strip sack any quarterback off of plays, and he'll lock down their slot corner. It just makes the defense even more versatile. So I'm very excited for the future. This defense is the best in America, and I think it might be one of the greatest of all times, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's shaping up to be that way, and the fact that this defense is able to do that, come out in a game when one of your starters is injured and have those options, just goes to show you the elite level of recruiting, evaluations, and coaching these guys up, getting them ready for this experience, man. But Matt Patricia has absolutely killed the game. You wouldn't think that you could do better than the number one defense in the nation that Jim Knowles had last year, but we clearly see now, right, what's going on in Penn State with Jim Knowles, that a lot of that, right, was a lot of the players that Jim had at his disposal. Going over to Penn State doesn't have the same players, doesn't make it look quite as good, but Matt Patricia knows how to utilize these players. And I think throughout the year, yes, we have star players, but you're seeing players like Tywan Malone stepping his game up big time. You're seeing, and I love this, you're seeing Jason Moore get playing time now. Just this last game, coming off an injury, was always wondering if he's going to get in there. Well, he was the number 2 3-tech in the game. So I love seeing that, and I think you're going to see that. We're going to need the depth in this game, and the depth that we have is elite. Riley Pettijohn, Malik Hartford, even though they're redshirt, if they need him, he will come in. And this defensive line, Mello, I would like to say it surprised me, but the only thing about the defensive line that surprised me is Caden Curry and his level of play. Everything else, me and you were pretty high on this Buckeye defensive line when a lot of people weren't. We were pretty high on Coach Johnson, his ability to develop the players that were waiting for their turn. But I missed on Caden Curry with his ceiling and his ability to do what he's doing right now. It's phenomenal. And you got these linebackers, the 2 best linebackers in the nation, going to go down as one of the best linebacker duos to ever do it in the game, in that argument, which is wild to say. It's like you got 2 first-round linebackers. One of them's a top 10 pick. One of them, I believe, is going to be the first Buckeye off the board in the NFL draft in Arvell Reese. And yes, above Caleb Downs. That might be a stretch there, but that's my hot take on the night with what Arvell is doing. What do you got to say to that, Mello? This defensive line, these linebackers, Matt Patricia, just tell me, give it all to me. Give me your thoughts about this defense, what they're doing this year.
I'm going to be a straight shooter because I don't care, right? You've been giving a lot of people leeway saying, like, we were high on this defense with defensive line when a lot of people weren't. Man, nobody was high on this defensive line but us. Let's be honest. Like, we were the only ones saying that the issue wasn't defensive tackle. We needed help at defensive end. And then, look, voila, we go get defensive ends out of the transfer portal and not defensive tackles. And then we were the ones that were saying, Brian Day was saying whatever because he was being asked that. And as a coach, you're never going to be satisfied with what you got. And you're always going to be looking. But we've been saying that, and that's because we had people that are in the know that told us that. And then we watch and dissect the film. We talk to these recruits and these players. Flat out, I was wondering about the defense, to be honest. And I remember I had a conversation with BJ Womack on the phone after they went on their visit. And he was so excited about this defense. He said, dude, the defense is going to be better than last year's. And I thought he was crazy. I was like, are you serious? He was like, I'm telling you, the defense is going to be better. They're going to be faster. He said the only thing you have to do, the only thing they have to figure out is who's going to replace the production of JT and Jet. And he said if they do that, this defense is going to be elite. And he flat out said they're going to repeat. And the same thing we had when we talked to Brett. He was big time talking about how the defensive line was going to be elite. He flat out told me we won't give up more than 14 points a game. Obviously, that happened, but we also had a lot of backups in who need that rep. They need the rep time and the experience. So we knew. We had people tell us it's not like we're psychics or anything, or we see all the practices, but we had people that told us, and that's what made us really high on them. And then if you look at the playoff experience and how we were rotating, it was quite clear that we were going to be okay on the D line. What I am surprised about with the D line specifically is what's going on with Edric Houston. Like, I think there's something else going on with him besides just football. But Edric Houston is elite. I've seen him play the most elite competition down here in Gwinnett County. He's a freaking animal. And I'm waiting for Edric Houston to become Edric Houston again. And once he does that, it's over. Like, straight up, it's over. We're going to win a natty just because of how good our defense is.
Yeah, you bring up a good thing, the Edric Houston thing. And I'll tell you this, you said it, not knowing, but I do know that these people are humans too. Okay. So they have lives that go on outside of football. They have things that they deal with outside of football. And Edric is going through that right now. I'm not going to get into details about it, but he is. There are things going on with Edric that nothing too dramatic, but he's a college student as well. He's a college football player. This is all new. Some people's timing lines up differently. They process things differently, and that's what's going on there. They will get that figured out. This coaching staff with Ryan Day and how much he is focused on mental health and those aspects of the game. It's number one priority to them. They want these guys to be great men, great leaders before they want them to be good football players, which is why you see the culture that you have. So, yes, Edric is going through some things right now. I'm not going to get into details there, but I have the utmost faith that this coaching staff and Edric, they're going to get it together. It's upsetting he was injured because the last game that we played, the Minnesota game, he flashed a little bit. You saw him get some confidence back, made some plays, running around out there, laughing and smiling on the sideline, having a good time. So I was upset to see him injured because I wanted him to carry that momentum into this game. So Edric's on the right path. They got a plan for him. They're implementing that plan. So I do fully expect him to come back and be the player that we think he can be. It just might not be the timeline that we think, right? Look at Tywone Malone Jr., right? Pick him up in the portal, high expectations. And you ask yourself, 3 months ago, you would have said, yes, Tywone Malone Jr. was a huge letdown. Well, what's your answer now? Was Tywone Malone Jr. been a letdown? The answer is no. I know we still got a long season. He's still got a lot to prove. But you see, right, sometimes you just got to be patient. Got to let these things play out. Takes a long time to develop these players. And that's what's different about Ohio State, man. They're not going to mess around with these players' developments. They're not going to put them on the field ahead of time. They're going to make sure when they put them on the field, they're ready. They're ready for the moment. And you see players like Caden Curry who waited and waited and waited and waited. And then the Buckeyes give him that moment, and look what he's doing. Why is he doing that? Because he waited. Because the Buckeyes kept him on this team. They kept developing him, and they kept that competition going. So he spent his whole career every single day trying to take somebody's job. That's why he's playing the way he's playing. The Buckeyes don't just hand out playing time, and I love that. It's patience. Sometimes it's frustrating as a fan, but ultimately, in the long run, it's making these guys better men, better leaders, and ultimately better football players. So, again, I just love every aspect of this program. This team is dominating everybody that they play, and it's still very obvious that they have so much more room to grow, especially on offense with the rushing attack in the red zone. On defense, the tempo game kind of threw him off a little bit. Matt Patricia's going to get that handled. And, I don't know what to say about the punting, Mello. I guess I'm just going to be happy with no blocked punts and no punt returns on the year, and that's going to be my new standard. So I'll never gripe about being ranked 128th in the nation for punting distance.
Dude, you are hilarious, man. I love that about you. I miss that about you with the special teams. And man, you have the most asphyxiation on the special teams than anyone I know, and that's awesome to know. My thing with the special teams, I want to see this. I don't really care. I love Bi. I love Brandon Ennis, but as soon as Bryson Rogers gets healthy, I want him on punt return. Period. I think he's a little more shifty, a little more elusive, a little more quicker from going from 0 to 60. That's what I want to see. He needs to have some kind of continuous role on this team, and obviously he's not going to have a huge role coming out the slot because Bi is taking over that spot. And I'm not 100% against that. I think Bi is an excellent slot receiver, but on punt returns, no, we need a little bit more, and I think Bryson Rogers gives that to us. We watched it the one time he did get the punt return. He did get called back for a penalty, but a fake fair catch, that is, when he didn't. But, I mean, I want to see Bryson Rogers back there. That's my big thing for special teams.
Yeah, for sure. I could see them rotating in and out, but again, love what the Buckeyes are doing. There's always things that we want to see these guys get better at, so we voice those from time to time, but the Buckeyes are dominating. It seems to me that the Buckeyes got to stay focused, but when you look at their schedule, the remaining of the year, Michigan is going to be their toughest game, and that should not be a tough game. So it's looking like the Buckeyes, they're going to be in that Big Ten championship game this year. We pray probably against Indiana, and we'll be heading to the playoffs. But Mello, dude, it's been awesome, bro. Love getting on here and talking some Buckeye football with you again, dude. Any final thoughts?
Oh, we got it. We got to go to Indy if they go.
Oh yeah, we will. I'm down.
Yep. I'm down. That's my final thought. I wanted to go to Penn State. I don't know if I think that game's gonna be a massacre. Honestly, that's just the truth.
Yeah, I do as well. But all right, brother. Appreciate you, man. Chat. We appreciate you guys for joining the show tonight. Please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Check us out tomorrow. Gonna do a show tomorrow. We got Dalton from the PFF guys coming on the show. Got a couple recruits that are going to be joining us here shortly. So appreciate you guys for watching, man. Love you guys. Go Buckeyes. OH.
Ayo.